Kasama po natin ang ating personal effectiveness coach and corporate communications guru. Walang iba kundi si Miss Sheila Viesca. Miss Sheila, welcome to the show.
Hi, Miss Sheila. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Happy Wellness
Pakidefine daw.
Wednesday. Hi, Angel.
Pakidefine daw muna
And
yung assertive, sabi ni Kikay.
For my benefit and for the benefit of society. Ano ba ibig sabihin, Miss Sheila, ng
Baka sabihin nila, hindi namin alam ibig sabihin.
Oo nga, alam namin
well,
na.
other members of society.
Oo.
Ay, hindi. Para makapagsimula.
Ito
Go
na,
ahead.
ito, yung ginagawa nyo, yan yun. Gusto ko yung para
Magaling ka pa naman
okay,
dyan.
ito.
Oo.
Oo, sige. Marami tayo. Assertiveness is a core skill, communication skill, because it has to be articulated. It's your ability to express yourself, to stand up for what you think is right, express your views, while at the same time respecting the rights and beliefs of others. So yun yung balance.
Yun pala yun.
Oo.
Evaluate yung
And
sarili ko.
And we're talking about this now because it's part of stress management. It can help you control your anger. It can help you cope better when you're able to assert your views in a behavior and style, communication style, that is respectful to others. So, gusto nyong ma-reduce yung stress nyo, gusto nyong mag-communicate much better, learn to be assertive. That's why we're going to discuss today the power of assertive speech or assertive communication.
Interesting.
So, what do we get from being assertive, Miss Sheila?
Well, assertiveness, Angel, Kikay, and Beth, makes sense because it's based on mutual respect. So it allows you to see the point of view of another person and at the same time demonstrate where you're coming from. So definitely, when you're assertive, you're able to resolve conflicts better. And it's not always something to consider. It's not always what you say. It's not always what you say. Usually, what registers first is how you say it. Kaya it's as important.
Yes.
So it's what you do, not what. It's not what you do. It's who you are. Say. It's what you are. Tama ba?
Actually, yes. Who you are is going to complement how you express your feelings, how you express your understanding. Oo. Kasi you don't always have to agree. But when you are assertive, you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Yun ang gusto natin. Siyempre, parang problema yan sa maraming bagay, no? Sa career mo, sa trabaho mo, sa mga relationship mo with your friendship, pati family. Ma-apply ko yan.
And we want to learn this kasi it gives us the best chance to be successful in delivering our message. If we're not able to do that, either passive tayo or we get too aggressive. Yes. So ano yung nangyayari? The people we intend to communicate with get too busy reacting to our delivery instead of focusing on what we're saying. And then of course, internally, pag hindi natin natutunan yung assertiveness, we become more stressed. We resent what others are saying kasi hindi natin kayang tapatan.
I-manage.
There's anger inside. Feelings of victimization can also happen. And unfortunately, there's a tendency to exact revenge kasi hindi na pag-usapan ng tama.
Nagkikimkim na ng sama ng loob.
Oo. That's how important it is to learn to be assertive because you can resolve a lot more as compared to just being passive or aggressive or even passive-aggressive. Kasi yun yung nangyayari. That kind of behavior when you say yes, but you actually mean no. O kaya sarcastic ka. Or you complain behind the back of others. O instead of confronting the issue, nag-uusapan. So there are so many drawbacks dun sa passive aggression that can be resolved if we know how to manage our communication well, assertively.
Ganda ito, ha?
So,
Sheila,
ano ba yung ways, Miss Sheila, para
Yes.
maging assertive ka, di ba? Pero, minsan kasi, di ba, parang, ano bang sinasabi nito? Gusto mo nang sumagot, nagigil ka na parang, paano ko ba kakalmahin yung sarili ko na in a way, magiging maayos pa rin na yung aking pagsasalita at pagsagot dito sa taong nagdadadaldal na mga wala namang pakwenta-kwentang bagay.
At the same time, true to yourself ka, di ba?
Paano ba yun,
Yeah.
Miss Sheila?
Well, some tips to help you become more assertive. Unang-una, assess your style. And you have a few seconds before you respond. Huwag ka masyadong reactive. Because
Yun.
you can analyze kung ano talaga yung nangyayari when you step back a bit instead of being quick to judge or blame. Kasi pag nasabi mo na, doon na siya
Confrontational ka agad.
mag-respond. Yeah. So understand your style. Not only that, may default reactions tayo that we end up developing if we're not aware. Yun yung laging lumalabas when we're pushed against the wall, when we're under pressure. So pag-aralan mo rin yun. And learn to counter that kung kailangan or get intervention para mapalitan mo or maalalayan mo kung ano yung sasabihin mo. Now, when you're ready to speak up, use I. Bakit? Kasi pag sinasabi mo, ikaw kasi, you are, that tends to sound confrontational to the other party. Kahit maganda yung sinasabi mo.
Oo,
Kasi
I hate
pressure
that.
kayo under stress.
Blaming game
So
yung
you can say,
nangyayari.
You can say, I disagree, but I would like to help. I hope that we can talk about this, or I hope that you can. So, laging magkaroon ng I as you are talking to that person. Kasi if you say, alam mo, you're wrong in stating that. What you should do is,
Nasaan akong
to
ganyan?
notice, or you're detaching yourself from the situation. And in effect, the person feels
That's
that he has to be
confrontational.
defensive. Oo.
Di maganda
And
yung
then-
ganyan, Miss Sheila. Oo. Kasi, share ko lang meron akong ganyang karanasan. Alam mo yun na you acknowledge your mistake, di ba? Yung ang nangyayari, yung nagpakumbaba ka na, hoping to resolve the issue, pero ang nangyayari, the other person you're talking to is, kasi ganyan ka. Yes, I know, I acknowledge and I apologize, and I'm here to talk to you na that I realized my mistake and it was not my intention. Alam mo yun? Ang hirap kasi yung yung ganyan yung na ikaw. Para nagmumuka, on my point of view, nagmamalinis ka. Ako lang ba may kasalanan? Why did we have an argument? Because, hindi tayo nagkasundo. Ako lang ba yung may mali? Baka siguro may nagawa akong mali dahil nag-react ako dun sa ginawa mo. Pero syempre, hindi ako nagmamalinis. It's there, it's out there. Pero hindi, ayoko nung ganun. Kasi, yung iba kasi, nadadala nila ganun, hindi nila alam na ganun sila. Yung yung ganyan, yung yung you.
Totoo naman. That's why we can only change our response or our reaction to certain individuals or situations. Tama talaga yung sinabi mo, Hikay. And when we know that that's the situation we're going to deal with, do some behavior rehearsal. I-practice mo kung paano mo sasabihin yung dapat mong sabihin before you even confront the person or the issue. Ngayon, pag nandyan ka na in that conversation setting at paulit-ulit yung sinasabi niya, iba-ibang angulo, pero isang point lang naman, and you have already asserted yourself, what you can do is what is known as repeated assertion, or also known as the broken record. So there are so many ways of saying what you feel is supposed to be happening. Like, alam mo, ikaw ganito ganyan. Okay, I agree with you, nagkamali ako. Hindi talaga namang ulit na ginagawa mo. That's true. Oo, that's true, nagkamali ako. Alam mo, hindi ko na matiis, ganyan-ganon. Pasensya ka na, talaga nagkamali ako. Kasi otherwise, lumalawig lang yung usapan, lumalalim yung problema.
Correct, mahaba.
Nagagatungan pa.
Oo, so when you know the solution, broken record approach, na hindi naman sarcastic, hindi naman ang iinis, but with full consideration of what the other person is feeling. So, kailangan talaga i-validate natin.
Alright.
Okay, so Miss Sheila.
Actually,
Sige, go ahead.
I was going to say, Angel, that one of the hardest things to do when it comes to being assertive is learning to say no. Because we do have to say no intelligently. Being assertive does not mean you accommodate everything. There's, of course, compromise. But when it comes to your self-respect, to your peace of mind, your state of balance, walang compromise dyan. So, be able to respond in a manner that will not lead to further disagreement. So, may mga tinatawag tayong positive scripting. Validate what the other person is feeling, and then refute or refuse whatever statement is given. And then in the closing point, pasalamatan mo, i-acknowledge mo pa rin. So positive, negative, positive. And it's usually works in those tough situations.
Ganda yun, ah.
Angel, you were asking something?
Yeah. Oo. I was gonna ask kasi you mentioned earlier yung word na control. I was wondering kung what are the other key factors or core value that a person must have to be able to be assertive in certain situations, like ano ba, sa family, sa work, ganon, and not to step over the line of being aggressive or passive.
Nagiging destructive ka na.
Yeah. Well, behaving assertively is not something that happens overnight. But definitely, it's a constant decision that you make. At hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, kailangan ka maging assertive. Minsan, sunod ka na lang. Lalo na when talking to guardians and your parents who know better. But definitely what we can consider as the best traits in order to practice assertiveness, unang-una, self-esteem. The person has to feel good about himself. And self-esteem is the basis of self-confidence. Kasi if you feel right, if you feel good about who you are, you can project that. Pero sometimes, self-confidence happens first for some people. Yung packaging muna, kahit may doubt sila. So, that is something that, these are two things that should be happening at the same time. Ngayon, ang importante rin dyan is you have that sensibility to understand what you're feeling, at the same time what other people are feeling. Because you may be right. Ikaw yung ikaw yung talaga nakakaalam, ikaw yung tama. But is that also their interpretation of the truth? So, kailangan intindihin mo. Yes. And isa sa pinaka-importante, respect yourself as you would others. Respect others as you would respect yourself. Hindi pwedeng isang side lang, isang angle lang. And you become better at communication in the process. Kasi you develop win-win situations. Nakakatulong din dahil natututo kang makinig sa point of view ng iba, and it helps you with your decision-making skills, problem-solving skills. And eventually, nagkakaroon ka ng more open, honest relationships with people who matter. Yan. So,
Exactly.
Self-confidence, self-esteem, sensibility in recognizing feelings, and then respect for yourself and others.
Humility ba pwede din, Miss Sheila?
Humility? Did you say humility, Bea?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. It's the recognition that hindi ka laging tama kasi we're biased with our opinion. If you have this delusional idea na ikaw ang laging tama, even if you are, then you miss out on opportunities to help to hear from others and learn from them. Ngayon, kung meron ka ng kung medyo nandun ka na sa stature na yon, start small. Practice mo kung how you communicate with kids, with family members who are easy to talk to, and try to learn from them. Minsan, part of humility is keeping your emotions in check. Huwag kang react ng react. Huwag kang respond ng respond.
Correct.
And humility to be articulated, kailangan i-calm mo yung sarili mo, di ba? You have to learn to breathe slowly, keep your voice even and firm. Pag nakikita mo nag-high pitch ka na, lower that. Kasi minsan, humble naman ako eh. But our articulated expressions are saying otherwise.
Sis, hindi ka mukhang humble. You don't sound humble, okay?
Nakaka-humble.
Diba? Humble. Some humble pie.
So pwede itong matutunan, Miss Sheila. Pwede itong pwede itong matutunan na kunwari, I wanna be like this. I wanna be assertive. I can learn it, no? By just looking at yung mga sinabi mo, checking one. Okay, check na ako dito, and then practice.
Yeah, for sure. Learning to be assertive takes time, of course, and it takes practice.
Baby steps.
Tama yan, Beth. It takes years of relearning certain skills. Kasi we also spent years silencing ourselves or being aggressive, being reactive. So, if the tendency is to be angry or to run away, kailangan talaga umpisan mo sa maliliit na steps. However, if despite your best efforts, hindi ka nakakakita ng progress in the way you communicate and deal with others, then that's when you can get formal assertiveness training, like what Talk Shop is offering.
Yun.
Wow,
Si Miss Sheila na ang kailangan mo dyan.
Oo.
I-Michelle mo na yan.
O, diba?
Sa corporate world, no, Miss Sheila, napaka-importante na meron ka nitong assertiveness, yung assertive speech. No? Malala ko si Eric, lagi niya sinasabi, when he's asking me to check yung mga letters, mga emails, sabihin ko, ganito mo na agad sabihin. Sabihin niya, hindi nga po pwedeng ganun. Kasi kailangan, hindi ka dapat, parang hindi ka nang aaway, hindi confrontational. Kahit alam mong tama ka, sasabihin mo pa rin na gagawa natin ng paraan, ganyan. Pero alam mo naman kung anong dapat gawin, na ikaw kasing may kasalanan. Hindi daw, napapagalitan ako lagi. Hindi dapat ganun yung
Mabuhay
approach
sikap
pala. Oo, kailangan
Kapag turuan niya ako dyan.
turuan mo daw si Eric.
Oo.
May on-call coach ka pala, Beth. Ang galing naman.
Ako nag-coach, pero ako pala kinukoach.
Diba?
Oo. Pero Miss Sheila, I'd say, go ahead. Nawawala yung internet. Go.
I was going to say we all need that kind of intervention, and we cannot undermine the power of assertive communication. Kasi if we're not able to practice that, napoprolong yung stress, lumalalim yung anger,
Din yung stress
anxiety. Oo. Especially if your work requires you to be in the right state of mind, and usually that's the case, no? Kasi if you're not able to assert yourself, it can affect your emotional
Yung day-to-day life mo.
and mental health. Yes.
Wow.
Totoo yan. Alam mo sa company ganyan before din na alam mo yung maniningil ka na alam mo nang delayed na sila sa pagbabayad sa iyo. Pero you have to be assertive pa rin and yun nga, respectful in how you deal with them. Pero I was wondering, Miss Sheila, I'm going to ask kasi, okay, sige, ako ay kunyari assertive na tao, etc. But on the other side of the fence, yung kunyari most important person in my life or yung ka-business partner mo or whatever, ay hindi marunong maging assertive. Let's say, for example, pag aggressive kasi kaya mong, kaya mong gawa ng paraan yung isang taong aggressive. But what if the other person on the other side of the fence is passive? Diba? And you want to be assertive on that person. So how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Ano?
Well, if you're dealing with someone who's passive, siguro workable compromise ang kailangan. Pakinggan mo kung ano yung sasabihin ng tao. Hindi niya alam kung paano i-assert yung sarili niya. Then draw out the information from that person. Kasi as we develop ourselves and our skills in assertiveness, mas natututo rin sa atin yung iba. And tayo magdadala ng conversation process. If that's the case. And normally when you are in a conversation or engagement with a person who's not learned how to be assertive, it's really how you start, how you continue, and how you end the conversation or conflict. You have to be able to hold the person by the hand and walk him through the exercise. So kailangan aware ka that you are in control of the conversation without taking advantage of the person who does not know how to be as assertive as you are.
Miss Sheila,
Yes
may
lang ng
follow-up
yes yan
question ako. Oo.
Yes lang ng yes.
So sa
Oo.
tanong naman ni Tita Angel, what if ikaw, you're willing to do the hard work para magkaintindihan kayo, pero what if this person, alam mo yun yung parang wala akong pake, I don't
Bala ka
care.
dyan.
Yung parang ganyan,
Bala
bala
ka
ka dyan. Sige. Alam mo yun, how do you handle that thing? Kasi ito na, nag-e-effort ka na, you're already trying to be the better person, even if you know, ikaw talaga yung reacting, ikaw talaga yung confrontational, pero you're trying to be, you're trying to be, alam mo yun, yung inaano mo na yung sarili mo para magkaintindihan kayo, para magkaayos kayo. Pero this person is not just willing. Dapat bang sukuan mo? O dapat bang, should you, die hard trying? Para sabi nga ng isang rapper.
Well, if this person is within your orbit, so kailangan mo talagang ma-involve sa communication or conversation with this individual, then the only choice is to be assertive. Pilitin mo na maging tama yung response mo, because when push comes to shove, definitely ang tendency natin to resort to direct aggression. So we are bossy, we are arrogant, we become intolerant, we become opinionated. O minsan naman, indirect aggression. There's a tendency to be sarcastic, to be deceiving, to be manipulative. And of course, there are times when we resort to submission, being submissive. We wait, we feel helpless, we become passive, we are indecisive.
Para lang magkaayos na.
We even apologetic. Oo. So, all this will not help. Talagang assertive communication pa rin. Because assertiveness is about being direct, being honest, and also being accepting. Ilagay mo sa timing kasi malamang naman there's another time when this person will be more responsive to what you're saying. At this time lang, hindi niya kayang makinig or hindi niya kayang makipag-usap sa'yo. So, you
Give it
also have to
time, give
learn
it space.
to time the communication. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon na ready ka to be assertive. The other person would be too.
Ayun. So I
Alright.
guess Miss Sheila, everyday naman all of us, 'di ba, no matter what field you are in, no matter what situation you are in, everyday, lalo na kami, our job entails yung being assertive,
Communicate.
'di ba? In whatever we need to say or ask questions dun sa aming mga resource person or sa mga reporters.
Yeah.
And I think the best that you said kanina is yung maging confident ka and as much as possible responsible and respectful with your words and to be able to convey your message, no, Miss Sheila?
That's right, Angel. And I would also like to add that assertiveness protects us from being taken advantage of. So it's not about opening yourself up kung ano man yung gagawin ng iba or being accommodating to everything that they want to happen or everything that they want to say. It's about being decisive and having that free choice to decide what is right for us. Kasi partner ng assertiveness is authenticity. Mahirap maging totoo if you're not able to assert who you are. So, marami talagang opportunities when we are able to practice assertiveness in our action and our communication. Nag-umpisa lang yan sa self-esteem. But eventually, maraming na-address in the different dimensions of your life. A good consideration, hindi sa lahat ng oras kailangan kang mag-articulate kung ano yung nararamdaman mo or mag-defend ng sarili mo. Yun yung in line with what Kikay mentioned also, may time para sa lahat ng bagay. There's a time to prove you're right. There's a time to acknowledge that your being right does not really count so much. There's a time to express your views. There's a time to just learn from others. And when you have practiced assertive communication all your life, talagang sa lahat ng bagay na medyo kahit nakakasakit or nakakabwisit, matututo ka.
Gusto gusto ko yan Parang yan ang gusto kong skill na
Very
ma-acquire.
nice, very nice.
Thank you, Miss Sheila.
Pina-practice naman Kikay, sabi nga ni Miss Sheila.
Pwede pala
practicein
matutunan,
yan.
mabuti na lang merong merong
Tsaka kung talagang, correct, talk shop.
nalalapitan.
Kung
Oo.
kailangan talaga, dyan naman si Miss
Yes.
Sheila. Saan ka nga matatagpuan, Miss Sheila?
Yes, thank you, Beth. So TalkShop can be reached at 0917-877-5588 or 0917-894-5588. So www.talkshop.ph or on social media, Sheila Viesca, TalkShop Consultancy. And we teach all the basics of assertive communication. So of course, from the verbal, non-verbal aspect, eye contact, body posture, yung gestures, tonality, and of course, the content of the communication. So we look forward to them calling us for their individual and team requirements.
Tamang-tama. Yan talagang
Alright.
gusto kong matutunan Kontakin ko nga yung talk shop sila Miss Sheila.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Sheila.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Napakagandang topic ulit.
Happy Wednesday.
Next week ulit ni Sheila